Intro. I hope you get something from this book. Discovering the silence within is so much needed today. They say you can take a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Maybe, just maybe, this is salt that is put into your food. We're all on the journey of life together. Hope you enjoy this book.
The Law of Silence. For thousands of years, there have been a few who truly discovered that silence is golden. Silence is worth more than any earthly treasure. By being truly silent, all the unknown mysteries come to life. In true silence, one discovers what is truly keeping you alive. In the past, those who truly wanted silence moved far out from the cities and the daily activities of life. What were they looking for, and what did they find? Today, noise is everywhere. People have lost awareness of the true significance of being silent. How many people do you see walking around with headphones, listening to music, or driving their cars, talking on their cell phones? During the last 100 years, we have been moving away from the field of silence. We are so accustomed to outer and inner noise that we have forgotten our true nature. Our minds are constantly on the go. There's constant chatter going on within and outside in our environment. No wonder our bodies and minds are tired. We're constantly being bombarded by sound and external noise. Our present-day culture does not understand the law of silence. This law has not been understood by the common person. If one understood the law and had a practical experience, even for 1 second, a person's life would change. The mind and body is constantly agitated at a subtle level. It really isn't quite at ease. Consequently, over time, disease occurs. Silence is a way to return back to the source where you came from. It was and will always be. The whole universe is alive, and silence allows the individual to day by day dive deeper into the vast ocean of life. This is where true wisdom and experience beyond any words come from. The more a person experiences this silence, the more one desires to change one's personal life to listen more at a deeper and deeper level. The level goes on forever. It's like an endless ocean, and the deeper you dive, you realize that there are no boundaries in this ocean. All the seen and unseen worlds come from this silence. It's amazing that our human body is hardwired for this experience, but somehow along the way, we turned off the switch. We have been so engrossed in this world that we have forgotten our true nature. Nowadays, people think that only the monks need silence, or that by being silent, one loses out in life. Silence is seen more as a state of boredom or a state of one renouncing the world. This could be further from the truth. When one truly becomes silent and enters into that ocean, one truly becomes alive and aware. From that state, one then returns with a greater level of awareness and appreciation of life. This awareness spills out into every nook and cranny of one's existence. One's true nature becomes alive, and one realizes that all of life is in perfect harmony, but man isn't. True silence brings one to truly live life to the fullest. Every day is a brand new day. and one loves to be truly alive. By being silent, one realizes and returns to the harmony of life. This is your true nature. One does not have to leave this world to be in the state of silence. One can have this in the middle of New York City and still daily enter the law of silence. It doesn't matter how much noise is on the outside. One can go within and experience the world of silence. Over time, a person embodies that law, and every day goes deeper and deeper within. Over time, every single cell reflects that silence, and the body and mind is peaceful. Over time, it just takes less than 1 second to enter into that point of consciousness. In the beginning, it takes effort and practice. Anyone who first learns to meditate will tell you then that they never realize how much chatter the mind produces. It goes on and on and on. The mind will tell you and dictate your life to not go into the silence. It will produce a to-do list that will never give you in a normal conscious state. It really is the hardest thing in the universe to train your mind. It seems very easy, which it is, but our lives are so complicated. We have lost touch of the yearning that comes from within. Our mind constantly is looking outside of our very own essence for happiness. So where do we start? What tools do we have? What will it cost me? As I said before, we are hardwired for that experience. This experience is keeping you alive. For thousands of years, we have searched in the 4 corners of this world for this experience. Well, guess what? The whole time it existed inside of you. How's that for a laugh? I can imagine you saying that it can't be true. Then where is it? I've been alive for so many years and I haven't found it. You got to be kidding. All the great teachers who once walked the earth said that the kingdom of heaven is within. Through the law of silence, one may walk through that door. It's like having a radio channel but no tuning to it. The music exists, the channel exists, but you are not tuned to that frequency. By applying the law of silence, one becomes in tune into the channels of life. Not just your life, but all of life in the seen and the unseen worlds. So the more you practice, the more one begins on a daily basis to fine-tune oneself to this precious channel of life. In this state, you will truly rejoice and have a deeper appreciation for all life. You will eventually overcome all the pettiness in your life. You will still have your daily life, but it will be at such an incredible level. Your negative baggage in your life would disappear over time. So tell me, what is the step? What can I do? It's as simple as breathing. It really is. Recently, the Buddhists released one of their sacred doctrines to the West. This doctrine is so simple in telling you the steps to enlightenment that they figured the Western mind would say it's too easy. In fact, they are right. It involves meditating on your breath. That's the whole technique. Yet, by being aware of your breath, will bring you to the state of enlightenment. At first, the mind says, that's too easy. The secret to life and to silence must be more difficult. But it isn't. Behind your breath, you realize that the whole universe is breathing. It is a doorway to life itself. All of life's mysteries and what you're truly looking for exist behind your breath. This is the law of silence. By listening and paying attention to your breath in and out, you slowly begin to enter into the silence. Each day you enter into this silence, you return with a greater awareness, and your body and mind begins to infuse itself with this precious state of awareness. Over time, you begin to see that entering the silence or the state of meditation isn't only for 5 to 10 minutes a day by the time you spend meditation, but the state eventually will be constant where one's awareness is at all times aware. Imagine being the sun, the moon, and the stars, and walking around in a human body. Do you think in that state you would care about your petty problems? You would be a beacon of light. In that state, you would have nothing to prove. This is where the law of silence can take you. We have had examples of the Christ or Buddha who attained that supreme state. They knew how to conquer the mind and enter into the silence, and they became it. This is our true nature and state of awareness. It is not some far-fetched notion. Throughout the ages, there have been a few who figured this out and wanted to share this precious wisdom with the world. Back then, they were usually scorned and ridiculed, while during this age, there are literally millions of people just like you and me, waiting to discover and put into practice this sacred wisdom. It is beyond religion. You don't have to change your religion. All we are saying is that entering the silence is what religion is talking about. You want a practical experience. I'd rather taste the mango than to read about a mango from a book. By entering into the law of silence, one tastes the divine fruit that exists within. Imagine the whole universe is breathing, and so are you. Yet, we have forgotten this precious state of existence. It's about time to come home. Your true mother and father are calling you. The law of silence will show you through prayers. You talk while God listens. In silence, God replies while you listen. Practical actions. Meditate twice a day, even if it's just for 5 minutes each. Pay attention towards your breath. Slowly increase the time. Go to the library and check out books on meditation. Get educated on the various kinds. Take a meditation class. Pay attention to your breath in your everyday activities. Go to a meditation retreat for a weekend. Sit still and listen. Inside the silence lies such peace. A wave of bliss is about to release. The secret of creation lies between your eyes. Behold a light more beautiful than anything in this world. This light is pure love, ready to take you on a ride. Surfers ride the waves of the ocean, while the wise man rides the waves of life. Imagine riding the waves of life. Behind our breath lies the answer. Divine music will accompany you. The mind becomes drunk on this bliss, yet this intoxication is medicine to the soul. For eons of time, man has explored. Buddha, the Christ, and many more have told their story. Behold, the kingdom of God lies within. It doesn't matter if you are a saint or a sinner. We all have the same opportunity to go back home. All it takes is one small step after another. Sit still and listen. The answer to this riddle is found by this easy step.
Well, the
majority of mankind, silence can be deafening. All they can hear is the chattering of the mind. Silence can make some people go crazy, yet silence is divine. How can it be so? For one person, it's medicine to the soul. To another, it drives them crazy. What is the difference? When a person begins to learn about silence, he is training himself. Maybe he has heard about signposts along the way. He sees the rambling of the mind and makes friends with it. Are you friends with your mind? That is highly recommended on this journey of life. Make friends with your mind. Be kind. There is a point where you will love silence. The entire universe is alive. Sit still and listen. How do I sit still? How do I listen? What do you mean by sitting still? What am I supposed to listen to? The mind loves to ramble on. Here's what seems to be two simple things, yet it's the hardest thing in life. This is the most difficult. Sit still and listen. Try to solve this riddle. Masters have come and gone. They all say the same thing. Sit still and listen.
Silence is your friend or foe. Silence is either your friend or foe. For many people, silence is deafening. A moment in silence brings one into a state of agony. Solitary confinement can bring a person to be insane. Yet, for a mystic, it brings liberation. Just think, it could be the same room, yet for one, it brings liberation, while the other goes insane. Many people find it extremely uncomfortable to be in a room with absolute silence. One must have the radio blaring on or the TV. For most, silence has not been cultivated. Silence is a state of mind. If you love silence, it is your friend. If you don't know silence, it is your foe. Silence is living in the center of the hurricane. In this state, all is calm. This is your natural state of being. When silence is your foe, you are like leaves blowing in the wind. We are scattered. We are happy in one moment and discouraged in the next moment. Silence has infinite levels of existence. It is an infinite well within. A wise man can be in silence and yet be talking to you. That's quite the paradox for most. Yet for the mystic, life is a paradox. He places his concentration on the unknown. The unknown becomes the known. In that state, one just smiles at life. He has nothing to say or prove. The world would be heavenly if we all had this state of mind. The kingdom of heaven lies within. If I could give you any advice, it would be the following. Love to love the silence inside of you. Just make it your friend. Your life will be much better and clearer.
Calm inside of the storm. There's a storm brewing this very night. Stay home. Nap next to the fire. Stay calm. Don't go out tonight. Your ship will still be there tomorrow. It's safe in the harbor. Danger is in the air. Yet at home, you're down for the night.
Carry your meditation into your daily life, day by day, year by year. Each and every time you meditate, allow the experience to flow into your daily activities. Meditation isn't only when you sit down. Meditation over time brings you to a point where it is constant. In the beginning, you try to meditate on the source within. Over time, the source begins to meditate on you. No words can describe how beautiful this is. You are not alone. Something is keeping you alive. We have been magnetized in love. This is our true nature.
Listening. The definition of listening is as follows: to pay attention to sound, listen to music, to hear something with thoughtful attention, give consideration, listen to a plea, to be alert to catch an unexpected sound, listen for his step. Here's what the Dalai Lama says about this subject. When you talk, you're only repeating what you already know. But if you listen, you may learn something new. As a society in general, it's all about talk. Nobody is truly listening to each other. Look at current day politics. The louder and more a person puts gasoline on the fire, the less the person listens to the other party. True communication cannot take place. Words are used as weapons instead of bridging the gap between us. If we want the left wing and right wing of the glorious eagle to fly, we must listen to one another. I have friends who truly get a kick of mocking the other side. They truly enjoy it. They take delight in it. Yet their actions are pulling America down the drain. We will always have disagreements in life. That's the nature of life. Yet we can have compassion and tolerance towards another person's point of view. If we aren't kind towards each other, someday America won't survive. Hatred will never bring a country to express its highest values. Yet currently, we have blinders on our eyes. We think we are justified in mocking people and putting them down. This is becoming the norm in politics today. We only vote along the party lines, not voting by conscience. Look at the riot at the Capitol building. Need I say more? If the other side did this, the same feeling would arise. What an atrocity. Yet, when our own party is responsible, we vote along the party line. If we don't listen to each other soon, the situation will get worse, my friend.
Where is the Buddha? At times I reflect, where is the Buddha? Where is the Christ? When one starts to meditate, one starts to feel the oneness of life. In that oneness lies everything. Yet we think we're only aware of ourselves. That feeling of oneness that we have is the same feeling that Buddha and the Christ had. The more we walk on the inner journey, that oneness goes deeper and deeper. There will never be a time that you clap your hands and say, I learned all there is to learn. This is an infinite journey. You've been traveling for eternity. Signposts and guidance is all around you. The more you look within, you will see the external signposts. These are exciting times to be alive. Millions of people are waking up. It doesn't matter if you're a saint or a sinner. The jolt of oneness exists inside of you. It can never be taken away. Discover your true nature. The entire universe exists inside of you. We see only 1% of the light spectrum. I find it quite fascinating that we see only 1% of the light spectrum. Yet, we have the hardware and software to discover God. One of the greatest mystics once said the following, "If thy eye be single, thy whole body shall be full with life." The world of science and mystics are merging together. Modern-day scientists are talking about the human body is wired to the quantum field. We can only see the 1% of the light spectrum with our physical eyes. Yet inside of us lies the pineal gland, which is the doorway to the quantum field. Mankind thinks what he sees is reality, yet we're almost missing the entire picture. The great mystics call this Maya. Maya is a great illusion. Ponder this over. We can't even imagine what we are missing.
Do you listen to your body? Last night, after dinner, I felt like I was going to get sick. My body sends me sweet messages so I can take proper action. When this happens, I go to bed in a flash. My lovely wife understands. He who hesitates or ignores this signal will suffer the consequences. I have done this simple trick all my life. The body sends us a signal that it needs some time to heal. Otherwise, sickness will take place. It's as simple as that. We must learn how to be in harmony, especially during these chaotic times. Intuition lies in your gut. Learn to eat good, wholesome food. A junk food diet will turn you into a junk food body. You are what you eat. Food is the best medicine. Modern day drugs really don't cure you. That's why we need constant refills. Our world will be in a better place if we healed our minds and bodies. We are all out of touch with Gaia. Gaia is so far away from our awareness, yet every day we walk upon her. Isn't that a paradox? Our earthly mother is all around us, holding each other in her infinite arms. Yet we are simply texting on the freeway of life. There was so much wisdom we can learn. Have you stopped gathering precious wisdom? Did you stop learning after you graduated from school? A wise man understands that infinite wisdom is in the air. One can never truly understand the wisdom of the infinite. At the same time, we can grow and expand our ways of thinking. One can constantly change and morph into a butterfly. This is the alchemy of life. Feet on the ground, and your head is in heaven. Feet on the ground, and your head is in heaven. I studied the Kabbalah about 20 years ago. One of the main themes was this incredible phrase: this is the essence of life. Be grounded. Be down to earth. Be practical. Do your duties. Be like a chameleon. Be simple. Yet strive to be in heaven every day. This is a practical journey. No theories or concepts are needed. Behind your breath lies heaven. It hasn't gone anywhere. We simply have. We were never taught in schools this advice. We were taught only when you die, one enters heaven. How about experiencing this mansion while you are alive? Problems will still come your way. That's why the Zen Buddhists say, chop wood, carry water. Heaven exists right between your eyes. If thy eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. The quantum scientists and mystics are both speaking the same language. The quantum scientist has an external laboratory. The mystics have an internal laboratory. Both of them see light. One is the manifest light, while the mystics see the unmanifest light of creation. This light is pure love, mercy, and compassion. It is your true essence. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't judge you. Mind you, you judge yourself. Society agrees a great job of judging you. The creative source loves its creation. You have the opportunity to experience this constantly while you are alive. The operating system, hardware, and software lies inside of you. Just turn on the internal switch. Which level are you on? Which level are you on in this video game of life? What are you talking about? Precisely, this is what I'm talking about. To play this video game, one must first realize that there is a video game. We spend most of our lives oblivious to that fact. It's like in the movie The Matrix. Same kind of game is being played. Ours is the subconscious is running the show without us being aware. We play the same broken record over and over again. We make the same mistakes. The groove of life becomes deeper. Eventually, the Grand Canyon is created in your mind. The goal of life is to discover your true nature. Every one of us is a precious jewel. We have just thrown the jewel into the mud. That's okay. No harm done. Just wash it off with the water of wisdom. Wisdom can help us discover the different video game levels. We can learn how to master the game of life. Mind you, life will still throw you curveballs, but the one who learns to stay in the center of the hurricane will have peace in that situation. One can learn how to hit the ball out of the park. Even a single is better than striking out. The main thing is to get off the treadmill of life. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You have free will. That's the rules in the game of life. Read the instruction manual again. It clearly states that it is by will alone I set my mind in motion. Unfortunately, our minds are running the show. Mystics have said the hardest thing to do is conquer your own mind. You can conquer the entire world, yet you still haven't taken the first step in conquering your mind. Your mind is your best friend, but it acts like an angry dog. Take your dog to dog school training. It will be the best thing you ever did.
Whatever you focus on, you eventually become. If you want to be a surfer, you first paddle out on a small day. Maybe some people paddle out their first time on a huge day. I wouldn't advise it. Anyway, at first it's real difficult just learning to paddle the darn board, much less catch a wave. Timing is everything. If you're too late, you will go over the falls, which really hurts. If you don't pass fast enough, you won't catch the wave. What really hurts is when you don't paddle fast enough. The wave can decide that you're going anyway. That is when you learn a major lesson. Anyway, over time, you'll learn how to surf. Years later, you're a surfer. It is a part of your life. Whatever you focus on, you eventually become. If you want to be anything in this world, you must focus on it. Nothing doesn't come overnight. Some things take longer than another does. For time immemorial, man has sought the mysteries of life. Those who focus their life on it eventually become it. In that state, they have nothing to prove. They will act like a child. If someone tells them they're wrong, they will just smile. We can all be in that state. Remember, whatever you focus on, you eventually become. The secret lies inside of you and me.
Guru Nanak once said, "The world is a drama, staged in a dream." Mystics throughout the ages have pondered this over. We are living in drama, staged in a dream. Is our dream real? What is considered a dream? We come and go from this world. Is this a dream, or where we come from a dream? We live out our lives in so much drama. We react to the beatings of life. Is there a way to solve this puzzle? It seems very complicated, one layer over another. Yet the answer is simple. Open the door within. Is this from a mystic or a scientist? Kabir, a mystic from the 15th century, said the following: "All know that the drop merges into the ocean, but few know that the ocean merges into the drop." Now that is profound. A modern-day Einstein might have said that today. The entire universe exists inside of us. We are a part of the universe. Is this a paradox? We are beyond time and space. There are billions of universes. Inside of our DNA is a part that is not material. It is spiritual. No instrument known to man can detect this yet. Yet the mystics have said all along, you are hardwired for this experience. Ponder this message. The divine words from Kabir are alive. Stop the noise in your head. As the children began to learn how to meditate, they saw how powerful the mind is. They never noticed that before. They asked the dragons how to stop the noise in my head. Of course, all the dragons laughed. They laugh because everyone goes through this. You see, the mind is the most difficult thing to control in the universe. The majority of man reacts to every situation. Man is reacting. The wise man learns to be proactive. They understand the basic law. It's my will alone. I set my mind in motion. Now, that's very easy to say, but hard to do. All people who learn how to meditate in the beginning have this problem. In the East, they call it monkey mind. The monkey goes from one branch to another. It can't be controlled. Well, when they first started to learn how to meditate, they clearly saw this from first-hand experience. The dragons told a wonderful story each time this subject was brought up. They told a story where a man saves a genie. Nobody knows exactly how this man saved him. Well, the genie told this man, you can have as many wishes as you want. The man said, wow, that's incredible. I love that idea. The genie said, well, there's a catch. The man said, well, what's that? You must always give one wish after another. If you don't, I will chop your head off with a sword. Are you sure you want to continue with this? The man hesitates for a moment and says, reluctant, sure. Well, the genie said, what's your first wish? The man gives one wish after another. It seems like when one wish is granted, he has to give another. He didn't even have one opportunity to enjoy, even for a second, the previous wish. He was getting tired and couldn't even go to sleep. The genie was always harassing him and saying, what's your next wish? Well, fortunately, there was a wise man nearby. He went to the wise man and sincerely asked for help. This boon was turning into a curse. The wise man whispered into his ear, well, the genie demanded another wish, or he would chop off his head. The young man said, go to the forest and find a huge log. Your wish is my command. In a second he returned with a huge log. The genie said with a smile, give me a wish, I will chop off your head. As you can see, the genie wasn't particularly nice. So the young man told the genie to go up and down the pole. When I need you, I will give you another command. The young man could relax and enjoy all the wishes he gave to the genie. The genie knew he was outsmarted by this wise man. The young boy enjoyed his life and helped others in the community. He eventually learned about the dragon and helped tremendously his fellow man. The dragon said that the genie is the mind. The mind wants to control you versus the other way around. By placing your mind on your breath, the genie will go up and down the log and set you free. Meditation is the key to bring awareness to your mind. The mind is either your friend or foe. Everyone in the universe has to learn how to control the mind.
The Tao Te Ching. Recently, with a worldwide shutdown, I had some time on my hands. In my morning meditations, I thought I would read the Tao Te Ching and absorb it. I find scriptures fascinating. There is a great mystery to be solved. Each sacred book talks about it in their own subtle ways, how to discover the jewel within. Lao Tzu was one of them. The most books ever sold, except for the Bible, was the Tao Te Ching. Here it is sitting on my bookshelf, waiting patiently for me to open it up. The Tao was ever so patient. It took billions of years for man to appear on Earth. Modern day scientists and mystics are talking about the Tao using a different way of expressing it. Scientists call the Tao the quantum field. This field exists beyond time and space. It was, is, and will always be. It exists in all dimensions. Yet centuries before Christ, the sage discovers the Tao or the way. It wasn't the philosophy. They had first-hand experience of it. These teachings are more relevant today. The world is in chaos. The Tao Te Ching can help humanity to discover the jewel inside. Remember, you can talk about a mango, yet without trying the mango, it's just book knowledge. The Tao is a practical path. At times, I think humanity wants to give their offerings once a week and call it quits. Maybe this worldwide shutdown will be an opening call. Only time will tell. There are 81 short quotes. I'm putting my commentary for each one. I use the word ponder a lot in my writings. I'm pondering deep inside myself to understand this precious wisdom. I don't want to skim the surface. Anybody can do that. I want to discover the pearls of wisdom for each one. I hope you enjoy this book.
Two. Under heaven, all can see beauty as beauty only because there is ugliness. All can know good as good only because there is evil. Therefore, having and not having arise together. Difficult and easy complement each other. Long and short contrast each other. High and low rest upon each other. Voice and sound harmonize each other. Front and back follow one another. Therefore, the sage goes about doing nothing, teaching, no talking. The 10,000 things rise and fall without cease, creating yet not possessing, working yet not taking credit. Work is done, then forgotten. Therefore, it lasts forever. Commentary. Everything in the universe is a push-pull energy. Everything has a pair of opposites, good and evil, having and not having, difficult and easy, high and low, front and back. The wise man does nothing, yet accomplishes everything. He teaches silence. The entire universe is breathing. It creates yet never possesses. The universe never takes credit. When the work is done, the universe just smiles. This goes on for eternity. 5. Heaven and earth are impartial. They see the 10,000 things as stray dogs. The wise are impartial. They see the people as strong dogs. The space between heaven and earth is like a bellows. The shape changes, but not the form. The more it moves, the more it yields. More words count less. Hold fast to the center. Commentary. The Tao gives us free will. Heaven and earth won't stop you from your actions. Nature might stop you in its tracks. Currently, there's a worldwide shutdown. The wise man sees humanity sleeping, yet humanity thinks it is awake. What a paradox. The Tao is infinite. Earth is the form, while heaven exists within the bellows. The bellows breathe in and out to make the fire get hotter. Man breathes, but is never aware. The wise man breathes and is aware of the fire of life. He learns how to be in tune with the Tao. A wise man lives in the center of the hurricane. Most of mankind lives in the whirling winds of the mind. They are like leaves blowing in the wind. Silence is the key to being in harmony with the Tao. Only a wise man understands what I'm talking about. "11. 30 spokes share. The wheels hum. It is the center hole that makes it useful. Shape clay into a vessel. It is the space within that makes it useful. Cut doors and windows for a room. It is the holes which make it useful. Therefore, benefit comes from what is there. Usefulness from what is not there." Commentary. The center of the Tao is emptiness. All spokes derive from it. Without the center, the wheel would not exist. A wise man understands emptiness and silence. This entire universe is like a clay vessel. Inside of this vessel lies emptiness. The ignorant man never tries to discover this meaning. The wise man understands the Tao and the nature of all things. The modern-day scientists are discovering the quantum field which exists everywhere. It is beyond time and space. The Tao supports all life. It is contained within the vessel of creation. "21. The greatest virtue is to follow Tao and Tao alone. The Tao is elusive and intangible. Oh, it is intangible and elusive, yet within is image. Oh, its image. It is elusive and intangible, and yet within is form. Oh, it is dim and dark, and yet within is essence. This essence is very real, and therein lies faith. From the very beginning until now, its name has never been forgotten. Thus I perceive the creation. How do I know the ways of creation? Because of this. Commentary. The wise man dedicates his life to the pursuit of the Tao. This is his only focus. For thousands of years, the Tao has been elusive and intangible. Even today, modern-day scientists are still trying to figure out this great mystery. They know about the quantum field, yet they haven't personally touched it yet. Without one, being in silence will always be elusive and intangible. Even in 1 billion years, if man continues, all external knowledge won't give you the experience of the Tao. You see, externally lies form, yet by entering silence, one sees the unmanifest. One sees the essence of the Tao. The greatest puzzle exists, and man tries to solve it. Yet by focusing on the creation, one can't see the Creator. Only by being in harmony with the Tao can one see the Tao. When one enters the silence, one sees the loss of the Tao is manifesting into creation. "23. To talk little is natural. High winds do not last all morning. Heavy rain does not last all day. Why is this, heaven and earth? If heaven and earth cannot make things eternal, how is it possible for man? He who follows the Tao is at one with the Tao. He who is virtuous experiences virtue. He who loses the way is lost. When you are one with the Tao welcomes you. When you are at one with virtue, the virtue is always there. When you are at one with loss, the loss is experienced willingly. He who does not trust enough will not be trusted." Commentary. When I was young, I spent some time with a Mahatma. Mahatma means great soul. Well, in fact, he was a great soul. One thing I noticed, that he didn't talk too much. Mind you, he gave an incredible discourse. He just learned how to speak English, yet you couldn't tell. He was very eloquent. Over the years, I saw the same thing myself. Dwelling in silence is the sweetest thing. Carl Jung once said, "Solitude is for me a fountain of healing, which makes my life worth living." When I was young, I couldn't relate to saints going into a silent retreat. I do now. High winds do not last all morning. Heavy rain does not last all day. Why is this, heaven and earth? If heaven and earth cannot make things eternal, how is it possible for man? Heaven and earth are in complete harmony. Everything is in perfect balance. The high winds blow and disappear into calmness. A storm comes and violent rain drenches the earth. The faucet is then turned off. Yet even heaven and earth comes from the Tao. The Tao created heaven and earth. Heaven and earth are not eternal. If heaven and earth are not eternal, how is it even possible for man? I say many times that the human body is wired to be in harmony with the Tao. It is built in. You are the universe. You just don't know it. A man who follows the Tao becomes the Tao. A man who practices being virtuous becomes virtuous. A man who has a closed door to the Tao is lost. When you embrace the Tao will embrace you. When you are one with loss, the loss is experienced willingly. He who does not trust enough will not be trusted. Greed and excess are not kindly treated by nature. From time immemorial, man has told stories, fables, and historic events depicting greed and excess. We have seen the downfall of the Roman Empire. Nature is not greedy and full of excess. Nature is in abundance. Man isn't. I'm writing this in the midst of a worldwide shutdown. We have never witnessed this before. Most of the world is in isolation. People are dying. Maybe Mother Nature is telling humanity to slow down. You are moving too fast. You are placing trash into your living room. In the past few weeks, nature is healing itself. Dolphins are swimming in Venice. In China, people are starting to see the precious sky instead of smog. In India, people can see the Himalayas for the first time in decades. Lao Tzu ended this chapter with the following: He who does not trust enough will not be trusted. In the present world conditions, many of the leaders don't have trust as a foundation. Consequently, they will not be trusted. One incredible spiritual teacher said that some leaders went out for lunch and aren't coming back. Such is the state of ignorance. Something mysteriously formed, born between heaven and earth, in the silence and the void, standing alone and unchanging, ever present and in motion. Perhaps it's the mother of 10,000 things. I do not know its name. Call it Tao, for lack of a better word. I call it great. Being great, it flows. It flows far, I flow far away. Having gone so far, it returns. Therefore, Tao is great. Heaven is great. Earth is great. The King is also great. These are the four great powers of the universe, and the King is one of them. Man follows earth. Earth follows heaven. Heaven follows the Tao. Tao follows what is natural. Commentary. In the beginning was the Word. The Word was with God. The Word was God. The Taoists call this the Tao, the way. Modern-day scientists call it a quantum field. Imagine a cosmic soup that exists beyond time and space. It exists in the known and unknown. It exists in all dimensions and universes. Heaven and earth were born from the Tao. From stillness and silence, the universe was born. The Divine Mother creates all. Therefore, Tao is great. Heaven is great. Earth is great. The King is also great. These are the four great powers of the universe, and the King is one of them. I find it interesting that Lao Tzu included the king. Mind you, history has shown us many kings who ruled with an iron fist. They had no interest in their subjects. They were tyrants. So why is a king included? Have you ever seen geese flying in the sky? Or fish swimming as one? I live in Kansas. Many people don't like the geese. I loved it. My wife and I love to see them flying as one in the sky. They are united and one. They follow the laws of nature, while most humans don't. My personal feelings are that man is going from me to we, from a state of doing to a state of being. Granted, this will take millions of years. Each one of us is a king. You are the universe. You just don't know it. A wise man who understands the Tao sees the king in each and every human being. These are the four powers of the universe. Can we have a country without rulers? Lao Tzu is asking that question. Does a tyrant have any meaning or purpose? One who understands the Tao will understand these meanings. (37) Tao abides in non-action, yet nothing is left undone. If kings and lords observed this, then 10,000 things would develop naturally. If they still desired to act, they would return to the simplicity of formless substance. Without form, there is no desire. Without desire, there is tranquility. In this way, all things would be at peace. Commentary. Behind every action lies non-action. Mankind is not in tune with the Tao. Consequently, our world is in chaos. The world has almost infinite desires. Some are good, some are bad. Going to war and rape the woman is bad. Feed the poor and training them so they can fish on their own is good. The wise man follows the Tao and his mind is tame. He still might have desires, yet his will is to be in tune with the Tao. The mind is either your enemy or your friend. A sage that truly enters the silence won't have any desires. In this state, one acquires tranquility. The mind, body, and soul are at perfect peace. (45) Great accomplishment seems imperfect, yet it does not outlive its usefulness. Great fullness seems empty, yet cannot be exhausted. Great straightness seems twisted. Great intelligence seems stupid. Great eloquence seems awkward. Movements overcome cold. Stillness overcomes heat. Stillness and tranquility set things in order in the universe. Commentary. Things aren't what they seem. Imagine we see only 1% of the light spectrum.
yet we think we see the entire picture. Life is like going to the movies. We watch the movie of life, get sucked into all the drama. We think the drama is real, yet the sages were smart enough to turn around and see light projecting from the projector onto the screen, therefore making the picture frame by frame. Sages called this entering into silence or meditation. Many times what we perceive is the opposite. For example, Lao Tzu said the following: great accomplishments seem imperfect, yet it does not outlive its usefulness. Great fullness seems empty, yet cannot be exhausted. Great straightness seems twisted. Great intelligence seems stupid. Great elegance seems awkward. We perceive these as the opposite because we are human doers. We never stop to smell the roses. Many people don't even know that the roses even exist. We live such a fast-track lifestyle. We ignore the precious jewel within. Once again, many people aren't even aware of the jewel. So we have lost the sense of awareness and consciousness. This is why we can't see or perceive correctly. We can't see that the entire universe is still, yet everything is in motion. Only a wise man understands what I'm talking about.
"52. The beginning of the universe is the mother of all things. Knowing the mother, one also knows the sons. Knowing the sons, yet remaining in touch with the mother, brings freedom from the fear of death. Keep your mouth shut, guard the senses, and life is ever full. Open your mouths, always be busy, and life is beyond hope. Seeing the small is insight, yielding to force is strength. Using the outer life, return to insight, and this way be saved from harm. This is learning constancy. Commentary. The entire universe was birthed through the mother. It is the source of all things. One who knows the Creator Mother, will know the sons, the creation. Both the mothers and sons are intertwined together. There is a thread of love tying it all together. Lao Tzu said the following: keep your mouth shut, guard the senses, and life is ever full. This is a human being, one that loves to live in the silence. Note, I said being. Open your mouth, always be busy, and life is beyond hope. This is human doers. We are walking on a treadmill and never going anywhere. Seeing the small is insight. Meditation reveals the light of the smallest of the small. Yielding to force is strength. In some of the Eastern martial arts, they use the opposing force against the opponent. A wise man understands that water is the greatest force, yet it is soft, humble, and fluid. Using the outer light, return to insight, and this way be saved from harm. This is learning constancy. Light brings clarity. The sage entered silence and sees the light behind all creation. This brings supreme wisdom and clarity. $60. Ruling the country is like cooking a small fish. Approach the universe with Tao, and evil is not powerful, but its powers would not be used to harm others. Not only will it do no harm to others, but the sage himself will also be protected. They do not hurt each other, and the virtue in each one refreshes both. Commentary. When rulers rule with ignorance and the absence of the Tao, chaos exists. Just ask Jesus the Christ. No sage is protected. Currently in the United States, chaos is prevalent. During this global shutdown, there's no true leadership. People need this during a crisis. There is finger pointing. The American people aren't getting encouragement from their leaders. It takes great insight to rule. If the leaders aren't aware of silence, they will rule with uncertainty. They will be biased. They will vote upon the party lines. The leaders will forget about morals and ethics, the cornerstone of politics. Both sides of the aisle will bicker and get angry with one another. Moderating and compromise will go out the door. Nothing will get done. When one is in tune with the Tao, one has great intuition. One could see what a small event in China, which occurred in China last December, could cause a worldwide shutdown. It's like the theory that a butterfly could flap its wings at right the precise time to create a cyclone in China. A wise man listens to his advisors way before events get out of control. Nobody has such great wisdom that they don't need advisors. This worldwide shutdown could have been nipped in the buds months ago. We don't need leaders who said some party is blowing this out of proportion and didn't do anything about it. I could go on and on. Personally, I think we should drastically reduce the military budget. This money can be used to overcome so many current problems. War is obsolete. If you don't think so, then currently we have a silent virus that can cross any borders. It has literally shut down the entire world. Mother Nature is saying, stop all this nonsense. You are sawing the branch you are sitting on. This is a warning. You may not take it seriously, but it is a warning. Someday you may not survive, but I will. My hands are open to you, but you have to change for the better. Don't think when this is over you can go on with your old stupid ways. This shutdown could occur again. What will it take you to change your ways? All the precious answers exist inside of you. 61. A great country is like low land. It is the meeting ground of the universe, the mother of the universe. The female overcomes the male with stillness. Lie and know in stillness. Therefore, if a great country gives way to a smaller country, it will conquer the smaller country. And if a small country submits to a great country, it can conquer the great country. Therefore, those who would conquer must yield, and those who conquer do so because they yield. A great nation needs more people. A small country needs to serve. Each gets what it's won. It is fitting for a great nation to yield. The United States was built upon the principles of the Tao. Mind you, they didn't call it the Tao, yet freedom from tyranny was our foundation. The pursuit of happiness was written into our Constitution. For over 200 years, the United States was the lighthouse of the world. Countries look up to us. Countries respected us. We are a shining example to the world. Currently, we have fallen from our greatness. The world at large no longer trusts us. We have treaties that we signed, and a short time later, reneged on our promises. We mock our allies and praise our foes. When the slogan, "Make America Great Again," this is the start of a downfall for our country. It is not us versus them. This entire world is in bed with each other. Isolation will never work this way. Once again, without being in a state of being, a country loses its wisdoms. The founding fathers had a vision and fought for it. You could say they combined doing and being. Ultimately, this led to greatness. Presently, the United States lost the sense of being and only is doing. In this state of mind, it leads to chaos. Just think in the last 40 years, the 1% gained over $20 trillion, while the others lost hundreds of billions of dollars. Yet, we are still giving tax breaks to the rich. The United States rules for corporations and the rich, not for the common man. The Tao has been completely forgotten except for the common man. The unsung heroes of this worldwide shutdown are the immigrant farmers, the people working in restaurants and grocery workers, all the great medical workers. These are the heroes. In the meantime, Congress is still trying to pass bills. Lao Tzu said, "The female overcomes the male with stillness, lying low in stillness." We need to embrace the female to solve our problems. The female exists inside of silence. In silence lies the wisdom of the Tao. The Tao is humble. It lies low. It doesn't point fingers and mocks you. It created the entire universe. It exists inside of you. The world at large must embrace kindness and the softness of water.
What is enlightenment? Can a man become perfection if his actions are still dictated by the world's reactions? Can man dissolve all his anger, jealousy, and greed? Can man truly live in a state of love? In order to be enlightened, a man must be one with light. Can pure light melt and diffuse man's negative emotions? Do we perceive anger, jealousy, and greed because we are not in harmony? If man becomes the sun, moon, and stars, his anger, jealousy, and greed will be 1,000,000 miles away. Because we see duality, we cannot perceive the truth. The sun does not know darkness. A man who's enlightened knows only the rays of light. He becomes the sun to light. Christ was the Son of God tonight. Each of us can become the sun. A man may read all the books in the universe. He may be the world's best debater. His intellect may be supreme. But a child who is pure and innocent is truly the wise man. A man who knows his heart understands true knowledge. He alone is wise. I think, therefore, I'm confused. How many different sects and religions are out there? Many say, believe in this, and you will be saved. While others say, if you believe in what they say, you are doomed. Are we trapped by what we believe in? I think, therefore, I'm confused. Maybe everybody is talking about the same thing. Can we rely on religion? Maybe the answer lies inside. Is God a Christian, Hindu, or Jain? Was Jesus a Catholic? Don't all great teachers proclaim that God lies within? Maybe we need our own internal experiments. Then we can see that everybody is talking about the same thing. Wouldn't that change the world? It's amazing how the West regards the elderly. Let's put them in the old age home to die. Have we lost our minds? How out of touch we are. The ones who brought us into this world, we put them out to pasture. Have we ever learned from the old ones? Is America the home for the young? What discrimination we have. In Hollywood, a female has a hard time getting roles over 40. We think she is over the hill. Yet the perception is on. Man dreads his old age. He longs for his youth. Yet wisdom is garnished throughout a man's life. The older you get, the wiser you become. The wine improves with age. I have a theory. The older you get, the faster time flies. Is time consistent in our life? I remember the summer vacation between my first and second grade. It seemed to last forever. Summer now goes whizzing by. Before you know it, the year is gone. Have you ever had a job and hated, constantly looking at your watch? Time slows down. How about your lover? Time seems eternal. Is time merely caused by our mind? Can man perceive something which is timeless and beyond space? The wise man says, dive within the well of your being. You will fly. The answer.
won't drive your car for you. You have free will, which will never be taken away. God is your co-pilot. He is sitting in your passenger seat. Mind you, the car is sitting in your inner garage. It may be gathering dust. Only you can open the garage door within. You have the remote control. It's by your will alone you open the inner door within. It's only your will alone that you back out the car and take it for a spin. All it takes is to focus on your breath constantly. This is the secret to life. Unfortunately, you never learned this in school. The highest university lies inside of you. You have been playing hooky for ever so long. The mind plays tricks on us. Why would God hide inside of me? I'm a nobody. Yet, you are the universe. You just don't know it. This is the grand illusion of life. You think the outside world is the real deal. Yet only moments ago, you check into the motel. You will sleep overnight, and then you will leave this world. You won't be able to take anything material with you. Death is knocking on your door. Yet the wise man just laughs. He knows he is eternal by practical experience. Day by day, one discovers his true nature. You are magnificent. You are eternal. You are the universe. Ponder this over. Open the garage door within. Dust off your car and take it for a divine spin. Your world will never be the same again. Remember, only by your will can you discover your true nature. God is simply sitting in your passenger seat. It's been there all the time. What are you talking about? What's been there all the time? You are the universe. You just don't know it. There are about 7 octillion atoms in your body. All our atoms are billions of years old. At the deepest level, you are the universe in human form. Wow, isn't that incredible? On top of that, you are hardwired to discover your true nature. The signpost of God all around you and inside of you. Yet, we are talking on our phone while driving down the freeway of life. The greatest miracle of life is keeping you alive. You are magnificent. Every single cell of your body is custom designed by God. You are infinite. Your body will someday die, yet your true essence will go on forever. You have the opportunity to discover your true nature. Behind your breath lies the answer. What is keeping you alive? All the great masters have said to be aware of the essence of your breath. Behind your breath lies your true nature. Infinite kindness, love, and compassion. This is the water that will put out the bonfires of anger and hatred upon this land. The sun is appearing on the horizon. Mankind is waking up from his slumber. We are going from darkness to light. Darkness has nowhere to hide. Discover your true nature. It's been there all the time. Ponder this over. It's been there all the time. The greatest game is being played right between your eyes.
If I could recommend one thing, what would it be? Discover who you truly are. You are the universe and just don't know it. How about that? You have forgotten your true nature. What is keeping you alive? Before you were born, you were one with the universe. When you die, you will return to the universe. We have forgotten who we truly are. If I could recommend one thing, it would be this wish. The Buddhists have a book called Crystal Clear. This book is a sacred doctrine. They decided to release this book to the West. The story goes the techniques are so simple that no one will believe them. Isn't that amazing? It involves concentration on your breath. Each and every moment we breathe. Behind our breath is a power that keeps the universe alive. Yet, it's too simple. Many people just say, it can't be that way. Well, for them, it's true. If you say it's too simple, you will never look within. You can solve this puzzle. Concentrate upon your breath, moment by moment. The universe will become alive.
What is the true nature of the mind? Before a person begins to meditate or contemplate, most likely the question is never asked. Most people would say, I never asked that question. Yet, that is probably one of the best questions you can ask yourself. What is the true nature of the mind? Have we discovered it? All the great masters have taught about it. Why do we have so many mental problems? Is there a correlation between the mind and body? Have we forgotten our true nature? I'm missing something inside. I don't know what it is. Why do I feel happy about obtaining something, and 6 months later I could care less about the object I attained? Why do I feel like there's a small mosquito is inside my mind? There's a small, constant irritation buzzing in my mind. Why do I act so irrational? Why do I fly off the handle so easily? Have I learned that getting angry at someone, that it only harms myself? These are practical questions to ask yourself. Only you can solve them.
Is the universe biased? Is the universe biased? Have you ever asked that question? Is the game of life rigged? Why do I always repeat the same mistakes? Why does happiness go up and down? Why does life throw me curveballs? Does peace of mind even exist? Is there a God, or are we all alone? Is there a point to life? Is life a random series of events? How can I control my mind? How can I control my emotions? How can I heal my body? Why do we fight one another? Why is there so much chaos in this world? Why can't humanity get along? Why do we work ourselves to death? And junk food is junk food. Why do we eat it? Why do we have such narrow thinking? Why do we condemn anyone who thinks outside of the box? Where is heaven? Is heaven a state of mind? Why do I have a hard time sleeping? Why is my body so tired all the time? Why am I so depressed? Why am I so lonely? Why don't I ever try to meditate? What is keeping me alive? What is the power behind my breath? Do we have 5 internal senses? What is this inner garden you are talking about? Is life a video game? Can we reprogram our subconscious? You are a master chemist. You can solve this puzzle. The answers exist inside of you.
Occam's razor. Occam's razor is a principle from philosophy. Suppose there exist 2 explanations for an occurrence. The more assumptions you have to make, the more unlikely an explanation. We all live in a cosmic soup. Every quantum scientist knows that. Yet, why don't we perceive that? Wise men have been talking about that for thousands of years. They didn't use the word quantum. Behind your breath lies the answer. It's as simple as that. We make it so complicated. In the silence, one can perceive the ocean of life. Daily, close your eyes. You will solve this riddle of life. One drop of water. Imagine we all came from the ocean of life. We were born as a raindrop. We were the ocean and a small but incredible raindrop at the same time. A famous mystic once said the following: everyone knows that the ocean contains an infinite amount of raindrops. Yet few realize that inside of each raindrop contains the ocean of life. I love that saying. A raindrop can fall into the gutter of life and get lost. Yet the ultimate journey is going home. Great lessons are learned
on this journey of life. You are precious, precious. The universe will never judge you. In each and every moment, you have free will. Ponder this over. The jewel of life exists inside of you.
The modern-day man looks for God on the moon and beyond. He studied the molecular structure of nature. Through his telescope, he looks for him in all the reaches of the universe. He sends out satellites to search for the unknown. Yet he doesn't find the answers he is looking for. The wise man looks within his heart and finds the hidden treasure. He finds his way home. The Ox Parable. The following parable is a classic Zen parable using a series of traditional pictures called In Search of the Missing Ox. I gathered this material from the book A Guide to Zen by Kazuki Kasuda. It is a wonderful book about the stages of enlightenment and the practice of Zen. This parable is a story through pictures the various stages of enlightenment. The Buddha has put signposts up on the way describing the various steps of each step of enlightenment. They are incredible benchmarks that we can use for our own spiritual development. It doesn't matter if you're a Buddhist or not. These are universal benchmarks. Starting for the search for the ox. The ox represent in Buddhist literature our true state of existence. Our existence is, was, and will always be. We are these natural laws that we're talking about. This is our true nature. The process for starting the search for the ox begins at different stages of our life. We are all different and unique. Each of us looks at the world through different eyes. There is a time in our life when we start asking some basic questions about life. What is the purpose of life? Why am I here? What is true happiness? Does it even exist? What happens to me when I die? These are basic questions that we start to ask on the beginning of our journey. Before then, we were just living life. Our awareness was solely focused externally. Every one of the great masters started at the same place you did. So at this point, you'll begin to question and start to learn how to meditate and enter into the silence. Finding the footprints. As one starts to meditate and spends time contemplating, you'll begin to have some experience of the quieting of the mind. You'll begin to have your first experience of entering into the silence. You're learning how to meditate and train your body to relax and enjoy the ride. You have gained enough confidence that you are on the right path. You will see the footprints of the ox. You haven't seen the ox yet, but the footprints are in front of you, and you are following the path. Catching a glimpse of the ox. In this stage, one begins to have a glimpse of the ox. One only sees the tail and footprints, yet it truly is an amazing experience. After meditating for some time, we begin to have spontaneous experiences out of nowhere. It's like the nervous system is allowing small transformations to occur. We can't have total enlightenment at once because our nervous systems cannot handle it. The body and mind has to readjust itself for this transformation to occur. Without getting into too much detail, the nervous system will blow a circuit if this experience happened all at once. So in the beginning, these small changes occur. Imagine the experience is like our My body is a car that has not been used in a long time. This car was meant to get out of the garage and onto the road. At this point in time, in finding the footsteps, we start dusting off the car and start to clean the cobwebs of the car. Catching a glimpse of this ox is like starting the engine, and for just 1 second, the car starts. Have you ever had that happen when you haven't driven your car for a long time? When you first try to start the car, nothing happens. The ignition just won't turn on. After a while, just for 1 second, as you turn on the ignition key, the car starts for just 1 second. Yet that 1 second experience is all you need. You have experienced just for 1 second that your car can start. This is the same experience of one who is at this stage. You begin to have experiences when you know your car has started, even just for 1 second. This gives you an inspiration to continue your practice. Catching the ox. Well, you finally learn how to start the car and back out the driveway. You're still definitely a beginning driver. Your experience has brought you to where you can catch the ox, but you can't hold on. It's like the beginning phase of driving your car. You have a tendency to weave all over the road. You don't have total control over your car. You experience happiness and joy in your meditation. Yet in the midst of that, there are periods of clouds covering inside of you. There is a shift in awareness, but you are learning how to control your mind and your emotions. Your meditation and contemplating is like cleaning your house, and the dust starts flying everywhere. Eventually, the dust settles and you're at ease. Consequently, your mind is throwing up dust inside and you are agitated. And yet when the mind and that dust settles down, you'll enter into your true nature. At this stage, you know you want to control your emotions, but you have a hard time doing so. Taming the ox. After a tremendous amount of house cleaning and throwing away a lot of junk, you begin to tame the ox. You can easily enter into silence. There is still afflictions that you are working on, but you have arrived where the wild animal of the mind has been tamed somewhat. Sure, you still have your problems to deal with, but you know you can enter into the silence. You begin to learn ways to fine-tune yourself. You began to put into practice these hidden laws. Riding the ox home. The ox is now tamed. It will go wherever you go. You don't even need to hold on to its reins. I'm most not definitely on this step. I've been meditating for many years, but I still have afflictions. I've yet not truly conquered my mind. I'm day by day progressing to this step. I'm so excited to be alive. By being in tune with these sacred laws, I'm fine-tuning myself. I see that the goal can be reached. Ox lost, you remain. In this state, enlightenment is forgotten. Any feelings or incredible states of mind are a burden. It's like watching a movie and not getting involved mentally or emotionally. It is said that in this state, they can hold on even for a second. Delay sets in. To be honest, I can sense that experience. I can taste it, yet that is not my present day state of awareness. Yet by tasting it, I know that one can have that experience. No ox, no you. In this stage, you and the ox have disappeared. What remains is only the sun. There are no cloud coverings your vision. In essence, you no longer exist. This stage will be described more in detail later when we talk about the 4 conditions of mind. This stage is called both inner and outer concerns are absent. This once again is from the book, A Guide to Zen. returning to the source. This is a state where you are the sun, the moon, and the stars, and you are walking around in human body. You are life itself. You are beyond time and space. Your existence is eternal. No words can truly describe that state. In town with helping hands, the wise man returns to the town and showers gifts that he has received along the way. He brings truth and inspiration along the way. He is indeed one who truly helps humankind to discover their true nature. The 4 conditions of mind. This is another section that I got from the book A Guide to Zen. This is the 4 major steps or phases of enlightenment. Inward concern is absent. Outward concern dominates. This is our everyday normal state of awareness. There are many different levels from a drooper state to a heightened state. Surfing is a great example of external awakened state. One's awareness is totally focused externally. When one takes off on a huge wave, you can't be undecided. You have to have total commitment. One's inner perception of oneself is forgotten. The consciousness is focused on the outer, and the inward is forgotten. Outer concern is absent. Inward concern dominates. This mental condition indicates that the inward concern dominates and the out concern is absent. Through the practice of meditation over time, one learns how to focus the 5 senses internally and be in a state where the outside world doesn't exist. In this state of awareness, one goes beyond the physical senses of this world. This is the foundation that we learn when we start meditating. Both inner and outer concerns are absent. This is the state of mind called nothingness, and this state is not vacant, but is life itself. Your state of awareness is one with life regardless of your inner and outer concern. This is the true state of enlightenment. Neither inner nor outward concerns are absent. This is the highest mental state one can have. Words truly are insufficient to describe this state of awareness. Zen is not a philosophy or mysticism. It's simply a practice, a readjustment of nervous activity. Here we encounter the purest forms of existence. Is the hushed silence of the snow-clad Himalaya, or it can be linked to the eternal silence of the fathomless depths of the sea. Kasuchi Sakeda.
Emptiness. What comes to your mind with the word emptiness? When the average person hears this word, it is a negative state of mind. I feel empty, devoid of any feeling or life. My life has no meaning or purpose. Usually, a person has some kind of negative addiction. Mystics have discovered for thousands of years the true experience of emptiness. There is a thread of love tying the whole universe together. This is our natural state. Yogis call this Sat Chit Ananda. Truth is the consciousness of bliss. When the mind is focused on truth, the awareness is absolutely bliss. Sciences have taught this for many years. The space is empty, that it is a void. In the last few years, many say the entire universe is conscious and aware. Mystics have been saying this for thousands of years. A man who lives his life solely externally for happiness will someday run out of gas and feel empty. A wise man dives deep inside every waking point of the day. One discovers the jewel within. You don't have to go to a mountaintop to do this. One can sit on the couch with your eyes closed. The universe doesn't care whether you sit and meditate. When I was young, I lived in the Big Apple for some time. With cars blaring and honking, you can still calm your mind. This is a practical path. Remember, the more attention you pay to something, the more attention it pays to you. If you pay attention to your problems, you will have more problems. I'm not saying curveballs won't be thrown your way. They will, but you can be in the center of the hurricane. The tide comes in, the tides go out, and you are the infinite ocean. What do you care what state the tide is in? I find it fascinating that the majority of people still disbelieve that there is a jewel that lies within. Well, what is keeping you alive? When you know this, you will have solved this riddle.
I have studied meditation for fun for a very long time. I have learned the following. Just like we have 5 external senses to be in this world, we have 5 internal senses to be in God's world. The kingdom of heaven is within. We are born to be hardwired with God. There is so much of God just contained in our DNA. We were created to experience so much more than what we have. Our car is just sitting in the garage. All the great masters have said, go within. Use your internal senses and experience God. There's a light to see. This light is pure love. Listen to the ringing in your ears. This will help start your journey. Be your breath. Feel the power of love. The universe is behind your breath. This is not just some theory. Millions of people are experiencing this in this moment. You can solve this puzzle. Open up your eyes. I don't know why people pass this up. We are all searching for happiness externally. We get glimpses of happiness, yet it disappears like a thief in the night. There is no conversion or convincing. The facts are laid out. The kingdom of heaven is within. It doesn't matter if you follow religion or not. The facts are laid out. The kingdom of heaven lies within. It doesn't matter your background. Nobody cares about your race. We are one after all. All we are saying is your car is sitting in your garage getting dusty. You have the opportunity to take your car for a spin. Become a race car driver. Your car was meant to be driven. There are signposts of God everywhere. No matter where you go, God is there. He even knows what you are thinking. Oh, how can God know me? He has so many more important things to maintain. The power of love knows you more than you know yourself. It knows your true essence. At times when you're driving, put your cell phone down. Just enjoy the ride. Take time to relax on this journey. The more you pay attention inside, the more signposts of God will appear in your life. You will see the universe is alive. There are signposts of God everywhere. You can solve this puzzle. It's time for a new act. Mankind has been acting for a very long time. It seems we have been performing for a very long time. It's like the record we are playing is always repeating itself. War, war, and war. Anger, anger, and anger. For centuries, we have played the same track. It's time for a new track. Let's drop these old energies forever. Let's embrace peace, love, and tolerance. Be kind. Be thoughtful towards your fellow man. Learn from your mistakes. There is a new way to act within this divine play. Discover your new role. Become one with it. Perfected. You will have solved your piece of the puzzle. One by one, peace will be unearthed.
conscious of the silence, and everything is put into place. When you were born, you had infinite riches inside of you. Since being born, humanity has squandered it away. At times, we are on the verge of bankruptcy. Take a look around you, and you will see what I mean. Some political parties have almost denounced kindness. Being a bully is considered a great trade. Truth becomes fiction, and fiction becomes the truth. One who dives into silence is truly the wise one. He has nothing to say or prove. He just smiles at life. Where's the world going? Ask yourself, where am I going in life? You are a piece of the puzzle. Have you discovered that piece inside of you? Remember, you are your own CFO. How much of your money is in your bank account? You are the deciding factor. Board of directors. I find it funny that when we were born, we had divine board of directors on board. We all come from the creative source. Yet over time, we slowly fire them one by one. Granted, it was probably unconscious. For some, it might have been conscious. Anyway, we are in a position today where we have forgotten the guidance we received when we were born. Today, we pray for guidance, yet at times it is so elusive. We have forgotten to reboot the computer of life. In this state, we can see the board of directors online. This is not a fairy tale. This is our true nature. Meditation and entering the silence are the key. Unfortunately, we have the key. Within, the door is there. Many even say the door was never closed. There are many rooms in the mansion of life. We have simply ignored them from our neglect. We think we are isolated and alone. Nobody would care less about us. This, my friend, is not true. The same breath that is keeping you alive is keeping the universe alive. In my eyes, I love unions. When I was in high school, I worked at Richard's Market. It was an incredible job. I washed pots and pans. The pay was incredible. After 6 p.m., the union rules were you to be paid time and a half. I think back then, I was paid around $10 an hour. Just think, if I would have worked at a restaurant doing the same job, I would have been paid $1. $1.60 an hour. I made about $5,000 that year. This is how I got my money for my travels. Huge difference. The unions had my back covered. Richard's market was very successful. Did you know that there's an inner union existing inside of you? The word yoga means union. We are not alone. Our school systems don't teach us this precious knowledge. Fortunately, my high school had a 3-week course on yoga that totally changed my life forever. There is a true union that exists within. It has always got your back covered. Unfortunately, if we terminated those unions with our ignorance, they are still there. They are the fabric of life. Yet, if we have forgotten that they even exist, we go on merrily texting on the freeway of life. That's a sad state for humanity. We can't see the forest from the trees. We think this is our true nature. No wonder the world is in chaos. Even today, unions are almost non-existent. The minimum wage is not a living wage. I could go on and on, which I won't bother you with. Discover your true nature. Can you hear the grass growing? We see and hear such a small spectrum of life. Dogs can hear sounds that we can't even hear. Eagles have a vision unparalleled to man. Bats have built-in sonar. Whales and dolphins can communicate to one another thousands of miles away. Imagine we have internal senses that have never been activated. The operating system, hardware and software were installed before you were born. Did you know the Aboriginals can hear the sound of grass growing? How about that? Talk about having sensitive ears. The only way to achieve this is by entering into silence. Silence is the door within. It unlocks the great mysteries. The earth is alive and conscious. Everything in the universe is aware and conscious, yet we are blind to that fact. For the Western man, a force is a commodity. It is meant to be destroyed for its resources. For the indigenous tribe, a forest is sacred and honored. What a huge difference that makes. No wonder why our present-day world is so messed up. Common sense is uncommon. The birds and fish can move in complete unison. No one is leading, yet they are all leading. That's called harmony. Currently, the world at large hardly knows what that word means, much less experiencing that. We are at a point where we must discover inner harmony within and bring it into this world. Just think Portland, Oregon had temperatures of 117 degrees. That's over 30 degrees from normal. We must do all our part. We will all discover the thread of love tying us all together. The world will change. Each one of us is responsible. Don't wait for someone else to change first. It's your responsibility for yourself.
Silence is God's first language. As humans, we communicate mostly with words. Yet words can get in the way. Words can be used for good or for harming others. It's hardly the best way to communicate. Silence is God's first language. It might be his only language. As humans, silence is an unknown state of mind. The wise men in the past said that silence is our true nature. Unfortunately, it has fallen to deaf ears. Currently, the world at large lives in a chaotic state of mind. We think it is normal. Nothing can be further from the truth. Apathy has entered many doors. There is a light inside of the tunnel. It's not another freight train barreling down on us. Millions of people are waking up from their slumbers. Silence is the door to unlock the great mysteries of life. The universe communicates through silence. It will never say, "Hey Charlie, wake up from your slumber." It does not demand anything from you, yet we are missing out on life and its great mysteries. You are the universe. You just don't know it. Many people just roll their eyes when hearing this. Talk to modern day scientists and they will tell you this is true. All the wise men in the past understood this. What are you going to do about this? Maybe it's time for you to think about it. The world can't go on with such chaos. Chaos is not our natural state. Silence is the language to communicate. It is a state of being. It is funny that it is our natural state, yet we have ignored it for thousands of years. No wonder we have so many problems on Earth today.
God speaks through silence. We pray to God. God listens. God speaks through silence. Then how can we listen? Meditation brings one to a state where one can listen to the unspoken word. That may seem like a paradox. Unfortunately, we have been trained this way. We can live with our feet on the ground and our heads in heaven. This is our true nature. Our minds are like a tuning fork. Whatever it touches, it vibrates at that frequency. We are all vibrating with chaos. Just turn on the news. A wise man trains to vibrate with the frequency of silence. This is where God speaks to you. Love is the doorway to this precious communication. Everyone on earth has the ability to do this. No one will be denied. A person can change their habits in 30 days. Maybe, just maybe, you can try to do this. You will stumble and fall. Curveballs will be thrown your way. That's called life. When you fall, just smile and pick yourself from the ground. Dust yourself off and take another tiny step. That's all that is needed. One baby step after another. Remember, Rome was not built in a day. To truly change takes time, but it is so worth it. In the beginning, you meditate on God. At some point, God will meditate on you. What you pay attention to will pay attention to you. This is a universal fact. Silence speaks to you about the secrets of the universe. I would love to see the day when modern-day scientists and mystics merge as one. That will be an incredible day, my friend. Meditating is the key to unlocking the great mysteries of life. Can you imagine the wisdom of a scientist combined with the wisdom of a mystic? The scientist would be able to understand so much more about the great mysteries. His knowledge and understanding will be so much more. Scientific dogma would not exist. One could truly think outside of the box. Even today, scientists are ridiculed or put down when they have a new theory or concept. This has been going on for thousands of years. Dear old Galileo was put on house arrest with his theories. Scientists today are blacklisted for life with their thinking. Eventually, over time, their theories become mainstream. This is usually after they died. Nikola Tesla is probably more famous today than when he was alive. He had an extremely difficult time when he was alive. Consider this quote: "If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration." This is still out-of-the-box thinking for today. The quantum scientist completely understands this, while the majority just roll their eyes. Tesla learned the language of silence. A fountain of wisdom came his way. We are just at the cusp where the two will merge together. That will be a glorious day, my friend. Silence quotes. Yoga is the settling of the mind into silence. When the mind has settled, we are established in our essential nature, which is unbounded consciousness. Our essential nature is usually overshadowed by the activity of the mind. Patanjali. The quieter you become, the more you are able to hear. Rumi. Those who know do not speak. Those who speak do not know. Lasu. The monotony and solitude of a quiet life stimulates the creative mind. Albert Einstein. When the lips are silenced, the heart has 100 tongues, says Rumi. Listen, clam up your mouth and be silent like an oyster shell, for that tongue of yours is the enemy of the soul, my friend. Through silence, Rumi reaches a level of consciousness where he loses all his mundane identities. Why are you so afraid of silence? Silence is the root of everything. If you spiral into its void, 100 voices will thunder. messages you long to hear. Rumi. Silence is an ocean, speech is a river. When the ocean is searching for you, don't walk into the river. Listen to the ocean. Rumi. Silence is a language of God. All else is poor translation. Rumi. Be quiet. The secret cannot be spoken. It is wrapped in silence. Rumi. Buddha once said, do not speak unless it improves on silence. A fool is known by his speech, and a wise man by silence. Silence is a source of great strength. There's something wrong with a culture inebriated by noise. Closing. I gave you a lot to ponder over. Silence is the doorway to heaven. Heaven is a state of mind and being. You can learn how to attain this state while you are alive. Remember, as Christ said, the kingdom of heaven lies within.